Once upon a time there lived a young girl who lived in the woods in the countryside. She was the most beautiful girl in the whole land. Her mother doted on her completely. She even made her a beautiful Red Riding Hood. This Red Riding Hood made her look so beautiful that everybody came to know her as Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother made her some food and said to her, "Take this food which I have made and bring it to your grandmother who lives through the woods." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Yes, I would like that very much." Little Red Riding Hood took the food from her mother, put on her Little Red Riding Hood, and set out through the woods. As she walked through the woods, she came upon the wolf. The wolf saw how beautiful she was and came up to her and said, "Little Red Riding Hood, where is it you are going?" And Little Red Riding Hood replied, "I'm going through the woods to my grandmother's house." Well, the wolf desired to eat her right then and there. However, there were some woodsmen nearby, so the wolf decided to wait, and he made a plan. He said, "Little Red Riding Hood, if I go one way through the woods and you go another way through the woods, shall we see who comes to your grandmother's house first?" So Little Red Riding Hood said, "Yes, let's do that." So the wolf set off on the shortest, quickest way to grandmother's house. His fast, strong legs carried him through the woods, and he very soon arrived at grandmother's house. Little Red Riding Hood, on the other hand, she took the longest, slowest way through the woods, and she picked berries and nuts and flowers for her grandmother. When Wolf arrived at grandmother's house, he knocked on the door and said, "Grandmother, let me in, it's Little Red Riding Hood." And the grandmother replied, "I'm in bed, the door is open, unlatch it and come in." So the wolf unlatched the door, came in, and ate up grandmother right there. He took her clothing, put it on, climbed into bed, and waited for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. Little Red Riding Hood took her time picking berries, gathering nuts, and gathering flowers. Finally, she too had traveled through the woods and arrived at grandmother's house. She knocked on the door and said, "Grandmother, it is I, Little Red Riding Hood. May I come in?" And the wolf imitated grandmother's voice, saying, "I am in bed. Unlatch the door and come in." So Little Red Riding Hood unlatched the door and came in. The wolf said, "Put the food on the stool and come into bed with me, Little Red Riding Hood." So Little Red Riding Hood put the food on the stool, took off her Little Red Riding Hood, and climbed into bed with the wolf. "My, what great legs you have, grandmother," Little Red Riding Hood said. And the wolf replied, "The faster to run with." Little Red Riding Hood said, "My, what great arms you have." And the wolf replied, "The better to hug you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood said, "My, what great ears you have." "The better to hear with, my dear," the wolf replied. Little Red Riding Hood said, "My, what great eyes you have." "The better to see you with," the wolf replied. "Grandmother, what great teeth you have." "The better to eat you with, my dear." And the wolf ate her up right there.